We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. We're gonna get this party started. Now we are live. So welcome Facebook, welcome YouTube. And if you happen to be watching me somewhere else, let me know, because I'm not broadcasting anywhere else. But I do know that people share videos and they end up on other platforms. So if you find me somewhere else, let me know and then come to YouTube and subscribe. So yeah. It is now, the time is now 7:34 a.m. It is wet nest day. July 1st. Pardon me. The the time is 7:35 a.m. Central Standard Time. That is Texas time. It is Wednesday, Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. It is July 1st, 2020, and we are going to read the Bible. Because that's what I do every day. Oh, and it's week 27. Week 27 of reading the Bible. And every time I say that, I want to start rapping. I don't know why. The early bird in the room. See, I can say that again. I can say that again now that I got my live stream back. I'm just over the moon. The early bird in the room today on YouTube is The Wiz, who says morning. Eva Frazier was in second place saying morning, and she gave me a hug with some heart loves around it, and she was like, I hit the like button. The Wiz also said morning. Eva, you made it. Yes, I made it. Thank God. Good morning, 40 fam is what Nicole said. And she says, bless the like button. So you guys can like me or share me out on Facebook, just like you can do that on YouTube. And the more the merrier, because who doesn't like a good Bible reading party, right? I know I do. You know, I was brainstorming at work last night. I was like, usually with their party favors. I was like brainstorming, like, how can I make this possibly more fun? I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know what would be a cool idea to incorporate into the Bible reading party. Let me know in the comments. If you think about it later on, come back later on and put it in the comments. I've got 2 Bibles, but I'm only going to read one, probably. This is what I normally read. See, I like it. I got both cameras in the same spot. Hooray! So I can do it just like this. This is my New Believers Bible, compact version. Uh-oh. I probably should have taken the notifications off. I hope that didn't buzz anybody. This is my New Believers Bible. I'm not a new believer. I'm an old believer, but I got this Bible around the house, and I was like, let me read it. And it is a very modern read. This is the New Living Translation. Oops, there we go. Gotta angle it just right. New Living Translation. And it is a very modern read. I do recommend this. Remind me, I have yet to put the links to this in the YouTube description box. This is what I read most of the time, and this is what I was reading for the Book of Psalms. We actually finished book 2 of the Book of Psalms yesterday, so I'm not going to be reading this. Just because I want to finish through with this one. But I like this one because it's got a lot of study notes. One thing they both have in common is when you read a new book, it will have a breakdown in the start of the book. Not all Bibles have that, because like the little Bible that I have at work is the King James Bible, but it's like an older one, and it doesn't have all this stuff. You just, when you go to a new book, it just starts. But this one has like introduction, like why should you read this book? Who wrote this book? When was it written? What was happening in this particular time period? To whom was it written and why? And what to look for. So that's cool. But another thing I like about this particular Bible is in the margins. That's not really picking up on that one, is it? In the margins, there are notes. So the Bible is actually the scriptures in the middle, but all along the notes, all along the margins are notes. So that's what I really like about this, is there's a whole lot of notes to help you along the way, because you don't want to read the Bible and just read it. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before. You don't want to just read the Bible. You want to read the Bible. You want to have like some scratch paper or a notepad, and you want to take you out and you want to ask questions. Why this? Why that? What was the purpose of this? Who was that? What does that mean? You want to really have an understanding of it. But yes, this is the Bible I will be reading from this point on through the book of Chronicles, which is where we're at. Now, for my YouTube people, you guys get a screen share. And for you guys on Facebook, you got to come to YouTube to see the screen share. And what I'm sharing right now, I'm sharing my Kindle download, which is a book that I'm using to study the Bible. The book is called A Woman's Guide to Studying the Bible. A Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in a Year, a Life-Changing Journey into the Heart of God, and the author's name is Diane Storts. So what I'm doing right now is I'm showing the week that I'm on, which is Not right. That says week 35. Why am I on week 35? What is going on? Oh, because yesterday I was like, I don't know how much longer it's going to take us to get back to the book of Psalms. And so I skipped ahead to see. One thing about this study Bible is it's taking me from the old to the new, from the old to the new, from the old to the new. And it's taking up the book of Psalms and it's kind of like sprinkling it. So I've got one book of Psalms here, one book of Psalms here, one book of Psalms here. And that's why I'm kind of like jumping around. Week 30, week 29. So yeah, what did I say yesterday? 6 more weeks? Yeah. I said we will be in the book of Psalms again in 6 more weeks, but for now, we're back in the Old Testament. Week 27. There we go. Look at your screen and you should see, make sure I'm doing the screen share. Yes. Look at your screen and in the gold box, you should see the word read and the word checkpoints right next to it. The read says Monday and Tuesday I'm reading Psalms, which I did that. And today is Chronicles 1, 2, and 3. Checkpoints for this week are Kings bringing presents. We covered that 2 days ago, I think, in, I don't know, Psalm 66 or 67. Today, we're probably going to do this one, David's sisters, 212 gatekeepers, water from Bethlehem's well, and the ark on a cart. Again, if you want to see this screen share that I'm showing, you have to go over to YouTube because I'm doing this part from my laptop, and I can show you the actual book that I'm using to study. But if not, just follow the sound of my voice. So yes, today is First Chronicles 1 through 3, and I also want to do another quick screen share. And this is of the new website that has been, this website is about a week old. It is called The Bible in 1 Year. The Bible in 1 Year, the number one, for those of you who are not looking at it. The Bible in 1 Year is the website that goes along with this YouTube channel because it's my challenge to read the Bible in a year. I don't know why I didn't think about this website earlier, but I just decided to make this website, was this last week or, yeah, about last week. And the whole point of it is to encourage other people to read the Bible. Like it says here, read it. Let me zoom in for people to see this on their phone. Read it. Read the Bible. Study the Bible. Learn the Bible. Understand the Bible. Apply the Bible. Live the Bible. Share the Bible. That's what I'm hoping people will do at some point. And yep, you go through, there's a mission statement. Those are the questions that I'm asking and maybe other people might be asking. You can give a Bible or get a Bible on this secondary page here. I will be blogging on this page. I haven't started anything yet. If you feel generous, you can give a Bible to someone in need. There's a link right here, biblesfortheworld.org. And if you need to purchase a Bible, you can use this link right here. It's an affiliate link. Should you purchase through this link, I will be compensated at no additional cost to you. And yeah. And here's a quick trick, a quick link that you may not realize. If you scroll to the bottom of this, it will actually take you to the channel. See where it says Contemporary Bible Readings? You click on that, and where do you think it will bring you? Boulevard 40. Booyah. Pretty smart, huh? I'm not necessarily promoting the channel, but if somebody decides to look down there, yes, that is where they can find me. So let's get back to it. All right, let's get started, shall we? We're in the book of First Chronicles, which is in the Old Testament. Now, the last time we were in the Old Testament, we were reading about kings, First Kings and Second Kings. And boy, oh boy, there was a lot of drama going on, a lot of assassinations, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of deception, and yeah, it wasn't pretty. So yeah, that's just a reminder. I'm actually gonna read. I'm not gonna read like through Kings, but I'm gonna read the heading so we can catch up and know like what was going on, why is this happening, why did what, who's what. Let's catch you up. How is everybody doing this fine Wednesday? Let me know in the comment section or in the live chat while I'm reading. Okay, this is the book of First Kings in a nutshell. In First Kings, David's reign came to an end and his son Solomon became king. God gave Solomon the gift of wisdom and the blessing of building the temple. By the end of his reign, the kingdom was in an agitated state of unrest due to the excessive taxes for all of his building projects. The book ends as Solomon's son Rehoboam took the throne, which led to the division of the kingdom. This is what happened in 2 Kings. 2 Kings shows man's inability to rule himself and the world. The kings of Israel and Judah had turned their backs on God and led their citizens astray. God sent many prophets to warn his people, but they refused to listen. So that was talking about Elijah and Elisha. In the end, the kingdoms of Israel and Judah collapsed, and their citizens were taken away into captivity. So that's what happened in 2 Kings. And there were other prophets, but I just remember Elisha and Elijah. Now, the book of Chronicles, First Chronicles. The author is Ezra. The date written is 430 BC. The genre is narrative. So we just came out of a poetry genre. Now we're back into a narrative where it should read straight through like a story. Before I jump in, let me say hello to my YouTube people. Make sure nobody else came in and I didn't want to ignore anybody. Okay. If somebody comes in between now and the next chapter, you guys make sure you make them feel welcome. This book emphasizes the spiritual significance of David's righteous reign. Though David's offspring would come the Messiah. Through David's offspring would come the Messiah, Jesus Christ, whose throne and kingdom would be established forever. And here we go in chapter 1. Wow, this is a long genealogy. Y'all better have a refreshment. It's gonna get deep. This is the genealogy, chapter 1, from Adam to Noah's sons. The descendants of Adam were Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. The sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Got that? These are the descendants of Japheth. The descendants of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tiras. The descendants of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The descendants of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. And now on to the descendants of Ham, Noah's other kids. The descendants of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The descendants of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Raamah, and Sapteka. The descendants of Raamah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush was also the ancestor of Nimrod, who was the first heroic warrior on earth. Mizraim was the ancestor of the Ludites, Anamites, Leabites, Naphutites, Pathrusites, Kasluhites, and the Caphtorites, from whom the Philistines came. Canaan's oldest son was Sidon, the ancestor of the Sidonians. Canaan was also the ancestor of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. And these are the descendants of Shem. The descendants of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah. Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had two sons. The first was named Peleg, which means division. For during his lifetime, the people of the world were divided into two different groups. His brother's name was Joktan. Joktan was the ancestor of Almodad, Shelah, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were descendants of Joktan. So, this is the family line descended from Shem. Arphaxad, Shelah, Aber, Peleg, RYou, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram, later known as Abraham. You really probably would have to get a piece of paper to draw it all out for this to make sense so that you can see how that family tree breaks off. But in either case, let's go on to verse 28, still in chapter 1. These are the descendants of Abraham. The descendants of Abraham were Isaac and Ishmael. And these are their genealogical records. The sons of Ishmael were Nebaioth, who was the eldest, Kedar, Abdil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedema. These were the sons of Ishmael. The sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine, were Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The sons of Jokshan were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Aphir, Hinok, Abida, and Eldeah. All these were descendants of Abraham through his concubine Keturah. And now for the descendants of Isaac. Abraham was the father of Isaac. The sons of Isaac were Esau and Israel. These are the descendants of Esau. The sons of Esau were Eliphaz, Reuel, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. The descendants of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, Kenaz, and Amalek, who was born to Timnah. The descendants of Reuel were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. And these are the original peoples of Edom. The descendants of Seir were Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. The descendants of Lotan were Hori and Hemam. Lotan's sister was named Timnah. The descendants of Shobal were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, and Shepho, and Onam. The descendants of Zibeon were Aya and Anah. The son of Anah was Dishan. The descendants of Dishan were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Keran. The descendants of Ezer were Bilhan, Zeevan, and Achan. The descendants of Dishan were Uz and Aran. And these are the rulers of Edom. Yeah, there's a lot of genealogy. Just telling you guys. When they say the book of Chronicles, they mean the book of Chronicles. Yeah, a lot of heritage here. A lot of heritage. The actual narrative will not start until chapter 9. But if you really want to know the truth of who is who and who comes from who, and where Jesus really comes from, and if that line really goes where it said it was going to go, you really do have to read through all of this. So I shouldn't break up my reading, but I'm just saying, the human in me is saying, oh my goodness, how much more of this do I have to go? But I do want to understand, so let's go through it. Talking about the rulers of Edom right now. These are the kings who ruled in the land of Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, who ruled from his city of Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah from Bozrah, became king in his place. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Temanites became king in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, became king in his place and ruled from the city of Avith. He was the one who destroyed the Midianite army in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah from the city of Masrekah became king in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from the city of Rehoboth on the river became king in his place. When Shaul died, Baal Hanan, son of Akbor, became king in his place. And when Baal Hanan died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred and granddaughter of Mezahab. Then Hadad died. The clan leaders of Edom were Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Taman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the clan leaders of Edom. And that is chapter 1. That is chapter 1. I don't know how many generations that was, but that was from Adam. That was from Adam down through the people of Edom, the Edomites, the people of Edom. So from Adam to Noah, descendants of Japheth, descendants of Ham, descendants of Shem, descendants of Abraham, descendants of Isaac, descendants of Esau, rulers of Edom, and that's chapter 1. That is definitely chapter 1. Okay. Now on to chapter 2, unless I've got questions, which I don't think I do. And so, chapter 2, descendants of Israel. Now the sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like I'm going to remember these better because, right after they left out of Egypt and there was the Exodus and the wandering in the wilderness and then the breaking up of the tribes and the naming of the tribes. I don't know why, but that sticks with me a lot more than what happened before this point. I mean, I do remember Isaac, son of Abraham, but all those people in between, I don't know, they just don't have very much significance to me. I know they're important because they let down the line in order for Jesus to be born, but for some reason, I guess because it's the nation of Israel. And we've been reading about Israel for so long now. First Samuel, Numbers, Joshua, Kings. Yeah, I think that's probably why it's more significant to me. But yeah, this is chapter 2, the descendants of Israel. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Those are the 12 tribes. Here we go, the descendants of Judah, who ended up in the south when they were split. Judah had 3 sons from Bathshua, a Canaanite woman. Their names were Er, Onan, and Shelah. But the Lord saw that the oldest son Er was a wicked man, so he killed him. Later, Judah had twin sons from Tamar, his widowed daughter-in-law. Their names were Perez and Zerah. So Judah had 5 sons in all. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Heman or Haman, Calcol, and Darda, 5 in all. The sons of Carmi, who were descendants of Zimri, the son of Carmi was Achan, who brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. You know what? That's so funny. I was just listening to that in the car. This sermon was talking about bringing cursed items into your home and how we don't realize that we're affecting our household when we bring certain things in, just like Achan brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. And from what that particular pastor said is, there's a reason, like if you notice with some of these wars, God says, destroy everything, don't take anything. But with other wars, God says, take this and then bring a portion to me. You ever wonder, like, why not here and there? And this particular preacher, she was talking about, well, it's because those things, even though they were made of gold and had value, since they were idols and since they were dedicated to other gods and basically demonic, God didn't want to have any part of it, and that's why Achan brought disaster on Israel, is because he was basically bringing in demonic idols. Yeah, that's what a coincidence. I was listening to that sermon on the way here. Okay, so we are in chapter 2, verse 7. The son of Carmi was Achan, who brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. And the son of Ethan was Azariah. Now we're going to talk about Judah's grandson, Hezron to David. The sons of Hezron were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon, a leader of Judah. Nahshon was the father of Salmon, and Salmon was the father of Boaz. Go Boaz, go Boaz, go Boaz, get Ruth, get Ruth, get Ruth. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Good old Jesse. Jesse's first son was Eliab. His second son was Abinadab. His third was Shemaiah. His fourth was Nathanael. His fifth was Radai. His sixth was Ozem. And his seventh was... Come on. You know who Jesse's baby boy was. Remember? David. Very good. David. His seventh son was David. Hey, the seventh son. The seventh son. If you're into numbers, which I don't really know, Kabbalah versus numerology, I don't know if it's all bad or if there's just something hidden from us, but they say that 7 is the number of completion. Anyways, their sisters, this is verse 16, their sisters were named Zeruiah and Abigail. Zeruiah had 3 sons named Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail married a man named Jether, an Ishmaelite, and they had a son named Amasa. These are other descendants of Hezron in verse 18. Hezron's son Caleb had sons from his wife Azubah and from Jerioth. Her sons were named Jeshur, Shobab, and Ardon. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah, and they had a son named Hur. Hur, as in Ben-Hur? I think I've asked this question before. Hur was the father of Uri. Uri was the father of Bezalel. When Hezron was 60 years old, he married Gilead's sister, the daughter of Machir. They had a son named Segub. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 towns in the land of Gilead. But Geshur and Aram captured the towns of Jair and also took Kenath and its 60 surrounding villages. All these were descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. Soon after Hezron died in the town of Caleb Ephrathah, his wife Abijah gave birth to a son named Asher, who was the father of Tekoa. And now in verse 25, I'm going to read about the descendants of Hezron's son, Jerahmeel. The sons of Jerahmeel, the oldest of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had a second wife named Atara. She was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, the oldest son of Jerahmeel, were Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onam were Shammai and Jada. The sons of Shammai were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail were Aban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Salid and Appiam. Salid died without children, but Appiam had a son named Ishi. The son of Ishi was Shishan. Shishan had a descendant named Ali. The sons of Jada, Shammai's brother, were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had 2 sons named Peleth and Zaza. Anybody who's looking for baby names right now? Just curious. If you're in the market for baby names, keep listening. These were the descendants of Jerahmeel. I'm still in verse 32 of chapter 2. Shishan had no sons, though he did have daughters. He also had an Egyptian servant named Jarrah. Shishan gave one of his daughters to be the wife of Jarrah, and they had a son named Attai. Oh, I guess it was a male servant. Okay, I'm just trying to figure that out. I don't know why I was thinking it was a woman servant, but okay. Attai was the father of Nathan. Nathan was the father of Zabad. Zabad was the father of Ithlal. Ithlal was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of RYou. RYou was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Helez. Helez was the father of Elisa. Elisa was the father of Sismai. Sismai was the father of Shalom. Shalom was the father of Jechamiah. And Jechamiah was the father of Elishama. As I'm reading some of these, they sound familiar. They sound like they come from Kings, the first or second Kings, like RYou. Remember, I was pronouncing RYou wrong that whole time. RYou and Azariah. That sounds familiar. Now we're in verse 42, talking about the descendants of Hezron's son Caleb. The descendants of Caleb. Caleb was the man who was promised some land. Wasn't that the one who was promised land? And or was there more than one? He was promised land as they were going through the wilderness. And when he was 80 years old, he said, "I'm still strong. I can still fight, and I want to make sure that I get what's coming to me. I want what I earned." I remember that name, Caleb. The brother of Jeremiah. The descendants of Caleb, the brother of Jeremiah, included Mesha, the firstborn, who became the father of Ziph. Caleb's descendants also included the sons of Mareshah, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tapua, Racham, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham. Raham was the father of Jorkiam. Racham was the father of Shammai, and the son of Shammai was Maon. Maon was the father of Beth Zur. Caleb's concubine, Ephah, gave birth to Haran, Moza, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The sons of Jadai. Hold on, because I don't remember reading about a Jadai. I know I'm saying a lot of names, but I don't remember reading that name, Jadai. Descendants of Hezron. Descendants of Hezron's son. It's funny that I would remember that. Descendants of Hezron's son Jeremiah. Descendants of Hezron's son Caleb are the descendants of Hezron. Okay. I must have overlooked that, but I'm in verse 46. Caleb's concubine Ephah gave birth to Haran, Moza, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The sons of Jadai were Regem, Jotham, Gishon, Pelet, Ephah, and Sheaph. Another of Caleb's concubines, Maacah, gave birth to Sheber and Tirana. She also gave birth to Sheaph, the father of Madmana, and Shiva, the father of Macbena and Gibeah. Caleb also had a daughter named Aksah. These were all the descendants of Caleb. When I get done, I'm going to look up that name because I'm like, out of all these names, I do not remember reading about a Jadai. The sons of Jadai. The descendants of Caleb's son Hur. The sons of Hur, the oldest son of Caleb's wife, Ephrathah, were Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the founder of Bethlehem, and Hariph, the founder of Beth Gader. The descendants of Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, were Haraway, half the Manahites. That word. Half the Manahathites and the families of Kiriath Jearim. So this would be the Ithrites, the Puthites, the Shumathites, the Mishrites, from whom came the people of Zorah and Eshtaol. The descendants of Salma were the people of Bethlehem, the Netophathites, Atroth Beth Joab, the other half of the Manaphites, the Zorites, and the families of scribes living at Jabez, the Tirathites, Shemaathites, and Sukathites. All these were Kenites, who were descendants from Hamath, the father of the family of Rechab. That is chapter 2. I know that was a lot. That was a lot. But wait, there's more. For only $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Just kidding. My Bible readings are free. Yeah, I would love, love. I think, you know what? Now that I think about it, that would be a good item to put, a good resource to put on the website, The Bible in 1 Year. That would be cool to put like a genealogy so a person can physically look and see, boop, 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 boop. Well, Adam, do, 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 Abraham. No, hold on. I missed one. Adam, do, 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 Noah, do, 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 Abraham, do, 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 David, Jesus. Theme song included. That would be interesting to see the whole thing. I'm sure somebody's developed one, but I want to put one on my website. If there are no other questions here on YouTube, and if there are no questions for that one eyeball looking at me at Facebook, I'm going to go on to chapter 3. These are the descendants of David. So this is a little bit more fresh in our mind because we just read about David, his son Solomon, Rehoboam, and everybody else in First and Second Kings. So this part should be a little bit more closer to our memory. These are the descendants of David. These are the sons of David who were born in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. This is a different Daniel. Remember, we have not got to the book of Daniel yet. So we're not talking about the prophet Daniel. He just happened to name his boy Daniel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithream, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned for 7.5 years. Then David reigned another 33 years in Jerusalem. What does that amount to, ladies and gentlemen? 40! Yay! It's my number. 33 years and 7 years. Then, I'm still in verse 4 of chapter 3. Then David reigned another 33 years in Jerusalem. The sons born to David in Jerusalem included Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. Their mother was Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel. David also had 9 other sons: Ibhar, Elishua, Elpelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, Eliphelet. And these were the sons of David, not including his sons born to his concubines. Their sister was named Tamar. I got a question. I can see how it's physically possible that one man can have all these kids because there's different women involved. But how does he have that much energy left over? That's a lot of kids. That's 6 sons that were born in Hebron. Hebron. 9 sons in addition to the ones he had with Bathsheba, plus his concubines. That's a lot of kids. I'm not even trying to count it. That's a lot of kids. Anyways. And also another thing I was thinking of, I'm wondering who gets to name the children in this particular day and time. I know it was very, how do you call it, patriarchal and very man-centric, where the father had ownership, for lack of a better words, ownership of the children. But I'm noticing some of these names have kind of a different sound to it. I don't know if it's because I studied languages or what, but some of these sound like where the mothers probably came from. If you guys know the answer to that, let me know in the comments. Look it up, or check it out. Drop that in the comment section later, or if you know it now, let me know. But it just seems interesting that some of these names, they seem foreign, for lack of a better word. They seem foreign. All right, let's move on to verse 10, talking about the descendants of Solomon. Good old wise King Solomon. The descendants of Solomon were Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, Ahaziah, Joash, Amaziah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Amon, and Josiah. I remember Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a good one. Hezekiah was like, we got to get rid of all these idols. Don't you people understand? It's a madhouse, a madhouse. And he cleared shop. I didn't got rid of my Facebook family. I'm sorry, I got too excited. But yeah, Hezekiah was the one person out of all them kings that kept being disobedient. He was the one that said, we got to get rid of all these idols. Got to get rid of them. Good old Hezekiah. All right, verse 15. These are the sons of Josiah. The sons of Josiah were Johanan, the oldest, Jehoiakim, the second, Jedekiah, the third, and Jehoazah, the fourth. The successors of Jehoiakim were his sons Jehoiakim or Jehoiachin, because one is a Kim, like Kimberly, and the other one is Chin, like Chin. So Jehoiakim had a son, Jehoiachin or Jehoiakim, and his brother Zedekiah. These are the descendants of Jehoiakim. The sons of Jehoiakim who was taken prisoner by the Babylonians were Shealtiel, Malkiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemiah, Hoshama, and Nedabiah. The sons of Pedaiah were Zerubbabel and Shimei. The sons of Zerubbabel were Meshullam and Hananiah. Their sister was Shelomith. His 5 sons were Hashiban, Ohel, Berechiah, Hazadiah, and Jushab Hesed. The sons of Hananiah were Pelatiah and Jeshiah. Jeshiah's son was Raphiah. Raphiah's son was Arnan. Arnan's son was Obadiah. Obadiah's son was Shechaniah. The descendants of Shechaniah were Shemaiah and his sons Hattush, Egal, Bariah, Neriah, and Shaphat, 6 in all. The sons of Neriah were Elionai, Hiskiah, and Azrikam, 3 in all. The sons of Elonai were Hodaviah, Eliashib, Peliah, Akub, Johanan, Deliah, and Anani, 7 in all. You know another thing that I noticed? I know there's more than one Daniel, but I don't think there's more than one Obadiah, is there? Because there's a book of Obadiah when we get to those books of prophets. I wonder, is it the same one? That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is the reading for today. I know it's only been 51 minutes. It seems so much shorter than that, or longer. That's the first book. That's the first, second, and third books of Chronicles. This looks like it's going to be a lot of genealogy. Just like the book of Numbers with a lot of numbers. But it's the book of Chronicles. What do you expect? We are chronicling or documenting the people so we can understand who was where, whose kids are whose, where they ended up, and how this is all breaking down. Looks like by the time we get to chapter 5, we got the ark being brought to the temple. Oh no, that's the Second Chronicles. Descendants of Issachar is in chapter 7. Descendants of Benjamin, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Benjamin. Yeah, this is going to be a dry one, you guys, but it's so necessary because you have to keep track of everybody. I mean, we're going from it like me and my, well, let me see. How can I break that down? Well, you guys know how family tree works. I don't have to break it down, but this branch, you can't just go down one line, one line, one line and disregard everybody. I mean, this person had this person because at some point these people end up meeting up with each other. Either your distant cousins are fighting my distant cousins, and if we go back, we can kind of see where the bad blood started. You know what happened. So it is necessary. It's gonna be very dry, very dry. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for me today. I don't think I have anything to look up in the dictionary because it's a bunch of names. Technically, I guess I could use my dictionary to look up these names, but we would be here all day. Hey, however, my thumb just happened to turn to Edom. Edom and the Edomites. I got 7 minutes left. I'm going to read about Edom. Edom and the Edomites, because that's kind of where it started when it was talking about Noah, Cain, oh no, Jacob and Esau, Abraham, Isaac, nation of Israel. And I found this word in there somewhere. So Edom, which means the color red, is the land inhabited by the descendants of Edom or Esau. Ancient Edom included the region beginning in the north at the river Zered, a natural boundary also for the southern Moab and extending southward to the Gulf of Aqaba. At times it included mountain ranges and fertile plateaus on the east and west of the Arabah, the desert valley south of the Dead Sea. The most significant area of ancient Edom was the mountain-encircled plain on the east of Arabah. Mount Seir, the highest of this range, rises to an elevation of nearly 35,000 feet above the Arabah. Edom's capital during the days of Israel's monarchy was Selah. Different from the Selah that's in the book of Psalms, it's spelled differently. Situated at the southern end of a secluded valley that had become the location of the city of Petra in later times. Other important Edomite cities were Bozrah and Teman. In the New Testament times, Edom was known as Idumea. Now, let's read about the Edomites. Descendants of Edom or Esau, an ancient people who were enemies of the Israelites. During the days of Abraham, the region which later became the home of the Edomites was occupied by more than one tribe of non-Israelite people. When Esau moved to this region with his family and possessions, the Horites already lived in the land, and you can read about that in Genesis 36:20. After the years of wilderness wandering, Moses wanted to lead Israel northward to Canaan across Edom into Moab. The king of Edom, however, refused them passage. And you can read about that in Numbers chapter 20, verses 14 through 21. Forcing them to bypass Edom and Moab through the desert to the east. Read about that in Judges 11 and 17 and 18. Later in the journey, northward to Abel Acacia Grove in the plains of Moab across from Jericho. Balaam prophesied that Israel would one day possess Edom. You can find that prophecy in Numbers 24 and 18. In dividing the land of Canaan after the conquest, Joshua established Judah's border to the west of the Dead Sea and to the border of Edom. You can read about that in Joshua 15, verse 1, and also verse 21. During the reign of Saul, Israel fought against Edom. Read about that in 1 Samuel 14 and 47. But the Edomites at times served in Saul's army. What? I don't remember that part. Why would your enemy help you fight? I don't know, maybe there was some kind of reason that they became allies. But you can read about that in 1 Samuel 21 and 7 and 22 and 9. David conquered Edom along with a number of other adjacent countries and stationed troops in the land. In later years, Solomon promoted the building of a port on the northern coast of the Red Sea in Edomite territory. During the time of the divided kingdom, a number of hostile encounters occurred between the nations of Judah, or Israel, and Edom. During Jehoshaphat's reign, Edomites raided Judah but were turned back. An attempt to reopen the port at Ezion Geber failed and the Edomites joined forces with those of Judah in Jehoshaphat's move to put down the rebellion of Mesha and Moab. During the reign of Joram, Edom freed herself from Judah's control, but again became subject to Judah when Amaziah captured Selah, their capital city. Edom became a vassal state of Assyria beginning about 736 BC. So antagonistic were relationships between Israel and Edom, that Edom is pictured as Israel's representative enemy. The entire book of Obadiah, didn't I just mention that name? I just mentioned that name. The entire book of Obadiah is a prophecy against Edom. After the downfall of Judah in 586 BC, Edom rejoiced. You can read about that in Psalms 137 and 7. Edomites settled in southern Judah as far as Hebron. Nabateans occupied Old Edom beginning in the 3rd century, continuing their civilization well into the 1st century. Judas Maccabeus subdued the Edomites, and John Hyrcanus forced them to be circumcised and then made them a part of the Jewish people. The Herod family of the New Testament times was of Idumean stock. And that's about Edom and the Edomites. That is pretty interesting because I'm wondering, like, once the Israelites were taken into captivity and exiled, who took over their land? You know, they wandered 40 days and 40 nights. They wandered 40 years to get to the promised land, had centuries of occupation, and then, they got booted and scooted from their own land. So who took over? It looks like the Edomites did, at least in Judah, at least in the south. Edom, the arch enemy of Israel. Man, there was actually like some dust that came off of there. I guess I need to read that book more often, knock the dust off the books. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me read the Bible. I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to watch more Bible readings, tune in 7 a.m. Central Standard Time or watch the replays anytime on my channel, Boulevard 40. I am now saying goodbye to Facebook. Bye, Facebook. Share me out with all your Bible-loving friends. Bring more people to the Bible reading party. And I'll see you next time. And for my YouTube people, how you doing? I gotta make sure I share this or else it won't go on my page. Okay. So that's set for Facebook. For all my YouTube people, thank you for joining me. Share me out with your Bible-loving friends. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Leave me a comment. You will get the gold star of participation for leaving your first comment. Oh, no, you won't. I take that back. I'm sorry. If you want a gold star, you got to go to this channel. I'm not doing that tradition anymore because it's really difficult to keep up with so many new people. If you go to this channel, which is talk about business and entrepreneurship, I'll give you a gold star. Not a real sticker or anything, but I'll give you a gold star for leaving your first comment. If you leave a comment here, I will give you a virtual hug, which is better than a star. I mean, you can get both. Go to both channels. Anyways, awkward. Yes, that is the end for today, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I'm going to do a quick outro prayer after I give a shout out to my folks in the live chat here today, which are the Wiz, Eva Frazier, and Nicole. If you would like a shout out, make sure that if you watch, well, you got to be in the live stream. If you watch, make sure you say hello so I can see you pop up. I will acknowledge you, and I won't put you on the spot or anything. And yeah, you can participate in the chat. And if you're watching after the fact on the replay, thank you. We are just passing the 1 hour mark, so let me wrap this up. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful wetness day. Thank you for this beautiful first day of July. We are more than halfway through with this very trying and challenging year. But Lord, I pray that as we encounter these challenges, we are strengthened by it. Our characters are strengthened by it. Our resolve is strengthened by it. And we build the right support groups and to help us out so that we can, have solidarity with each other and help each other out. And then we build the resources we need to take care of ourselves. I pray that this has been a learning experience for anybody, so that they know how to be more responsible with their time, more responsible with their money, more responsible with their resources. Yes, there are things out of our control, but there are so many things that we can't control. And I pray for maturity and responsibility and goodwill, so that those that have can help those that have not. And off of that, Lord, thank you for this live stream and the miracle of technology. Thank you for my ability to read my Bible in the peace and safety of my own home without persecution. My prayer is that everyone listening right now, yes, you, the one who just tuned in, I pray that you will read the Bible so you can come to your own understanding. Don't take my word for it. Read it yourself. Come to your own conclusion. Build your own faith. Build your own relationship with God. Find your purpose. Live your best life. That is my prayer. Amen. Ándale pues. That was unexpected too. It's going to be a cloudy day. There are no blue sky. There's no blue sky. Yeah, that was called El Grito. El Grito, the great cry. The great cry that is profound in many Latin cultures. So yeah, I'm not Latin, but that just came out. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next Bible reading party.